It's another tutorial using Drambo. So today I want to go over making an oscillator. Of course, Drambo has oscillators, but I want to show how we can use anything to make an oscillator and what you can do with an oscillator. Before we get into it, if you like these kind of videos, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment because it costs nothing to do that. But yeah, it would help out the channel. So anyway, let's get into this. All right, so right now I got this channel muted. So hit the M, you can mute, unmute. And I'm gonna pull up an oscillator mini. And you can see right here that it's doing its thing. We're gonna turn the volume down. All right, and we're gonna unmute it. And that's what an oscillator does. It just does that. You could change the pitch. We're gonna mute it again. And you say, what can you do with an oscillator? Well, if you add an, let's see where it's at. We're gonna type it in there. ADSR. So if you add one of these, and then we take the mute off. All right, so now you see there's no sound coming out, but when we hit the keys, now if we didn't have this, like if I take it off, we could still play it, but we can't stop it. So we need to put ADSR. So now we could, it's kind of stopping it from playing. And also we could do some other stuff. So A, that stands for attack. So if we raise this up, so you can see this pattern of the sound kind of slowly traveling up. All right, D is for decay. So if we raise this up, you can kind of hear it hanging on. If we bring it all the way down, take down the sustain. And if you take down the R, release, we get this little snappy sound. We take the decay up, and if we let the release up, now you probably are still saying, okay, so what? And I don't blame you. This is not so exciting. Right now we have one voice, so we can't play two notes at the same time. But if we put it on 3 voices, we can get a chord going. All right, and you can see we're on C4. Let me bring this down to C2. All right, and if we bring this down a little bit, let's go up another octave. All right, and let's add a little bit of reverb on here. So it's like a basic, like a old school harpsichord almost. So that's a saw wave. We got different types of waves. If we put it on a sine, we get this kind of sound. So that's like a almost like a electric piano type thing. All right, and we could put it on pulse. All right, for that one, I'm gonna add a delay. Come back here. All right, so you get the gist of it, right? So with an oscillator, and we add a little bit of effects on it, we can make like our own pianos. Now what's cool about that, this is your own original, it's not a preset, you created it. Now you might say, but you didn't make the oscillator. I mean, oscillation is just sound. So let's make our own oscillator. So let's come over here and we're gonna come into here. We're gonna use the flexi sampler, and we're gonna hit record. The input module is gonna come from the mic. So you can see this is the mic channel. All right, so we're gonna come in, source, the mic is this USB, and everything is set. We're gonna hit record, and we're gonna just be our own oscillator. So check this out. Now it doesn't matter. Now get out of here and hit play. So that's our oscillator. That sounds like Marge. We're gonna call this the Marge oscillator. So what we're gonna do, so this fade out is basically like this, or decay. So we're gonna come over. So right now, it's doing that. We're gonna take the fade out and we're gonna drag it all the way over. So it's gonna fade out. We're gonna put the one shot on loop, and we're gonna set the loop start and the loop end. Alright, we're gonna put the offset right at the beginning of the loop. So right now, for it to be an oscillator, it needs to be a little bit, I mean, this is a slow oscillator. So let's click inside here, and we're just gonna move. So we're hitting, all right. So we're just moving this over. So we're getting closer to an oscillator. We're gonna drag it out, pinch it, 2 fingers. All right, so we're moving in a little closer. All right, it's getting closer to an oscillator. All right. All right. And if you look at that wave right there, this little, so now we got an oscillator. And then using these controls, all right, come down an octave. Now, if we want to get our chords in, we got to set this again to 3 voices. And now we can get a little chord. Now, you can hear at the beginning there's a kind of, so if we just fade in, all right, we're gonna come in. Let's pull this in a little bit. All right, loop start. All right, and we're gonna put a little bit of reverb on that. Just a little bit more. going to tap in the tempo. Something like that. All right. And we want to get 4 bars for that. So just going to double. All right, something like that. So we got that little pattern right there. And let's see here. We're going to go on 3. And we're just going to, let's just put a drum loop in there real quick. So again, we're going to go to Flexi. All right, come in. And we're going to, so I got all my samples imported into Flexi. Go to drum loops. Let's see here. Going to breaks. Going to filthy. Let's do 150. Now, my tempo is 168. I went through all my sample kicks and all that and put tempos to them. So we're going to use a 150. Let me hear this. All right, so it's a 152, but we're 168. All right, so we're going to use that anyway. And what we're going to do, this is a 1 bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to come in and we're going to set this to 8 beats. And we're going to set the trigger to transport. So this is transport. And when we play it, we should get, all right, we got to make this a loop. All right. Now you might say, why did you bother doing all that? All right, so let's say we left it on native, right? So it's going to play at the normal tempo, which would be something like this. So it's not on beat. It kind of works. But let's say we slowed it down. So we came in and we slow it down. Or we sped it up. Now it kind of works anyway, but the drums are not going to change regardless of what we do. Tap. So let's say we're at 112. Now, if we put this on 8 beats, all right, and then we play it, the drums are going to change to fit the sample or to fit the tempo. So if we're up at 300, 242, or why you would want it that slow? Don't know. Here's a quick trick. So let's say you're, for whatever reason, you're at 63 BPM. If you put this on 16, it's going even slower. So then if you put it on 4, it's still on beat. It's just a half, like, you know the math. All right, so what did we accomplish? We made our own little synth using our voice, and we figured out how to match the tempo, just changing the beats. So I think that was pretty productive. And you could do much more with Drambo. Like it's really limitless. You just, for me, the thing was I just need to figure out how to do some basic shit. And once I got the building blocks, I was set. I started thinking of, okay, what if I did this and what if I did that? And so I'm just trying to pass it forward. And then hopefully you guys go out there and do some great shit with that and pass it forward. All right. See you on the next video. Peace.